Hey everyone, Chris with SoCal Reels here. Just going to go over a quick tutorial on how to maintain your conventional reels. After each trip that we take fishing, we want to make sure we clean them up, get the salt water off of the reel because it will damage the reel. So let's just go ahead and get started. What you're going to need to start off is you're going to need some water. I recommend just using a spray bottle with tap water, or even better, I use distilled water because there's no minerals, no calcium minerals in the water, so will not leave any spots. I know a lot of guys use the water hose. You could do that, but just put it on a fine mist setting because you're going to introduce water without that pressure inside the reel that in areas that does not belong. So don't recommend using a hose, but if you do, use the really fine mist setting. Then we're gonna need some reel oil. You can use there's many different types, brands, but I prefer using Corrosion X. That's what we use here at SoCal Reels. It's premium stuff. It works really well. It helps to. It's anti-corrosion oil, so it helps. Really works well for saltwater reels. Then I use a detail brush. That's a small brush you can buy guys on Amazon, just to get in areas where it's hard to reach. And then, of course, you need some microfiber towels. I got one down here just to absorb water. Just a couple of these that are dry and clean, so you can wipe down your reel and dry it. Then optional is slick rod ceramic wax. Here at SoCal Reels, after every single reel is done, I apply this onto every reel to protect it. These are ceramic wax film on the reel to help protect from corrosion and moisture. So first thing we're going to do is make sure you tighten down your drag. So before you start with any water, always tighten your drag down. And what this does is it squeezes the drag disc on your reel. And so if water gets introduced inside the reel for some reason, it won't allow water to protrude into the drag disc. So tighten down your drag disc first. Next thing you do is just spray the entire reel down with water. Make sure you get the line here, the line on your spool. Get it really good, because remember, there's salt water all within the layers of that line that you're really not going to be able to access unless you take all the line off, right? But so spray it all down really well. It's another reason why I use distilled water, because it will not leave any calcium deposits behind. So, you're not obviously not gonna be able to get all the water out of this once you spray it down, but if you spray distilled water, it'll soak in there, it'll drip out, and it won't leave any calcium behind. So once you spray down the whole reel, just, obviously dry it all off. This is all you need is just some spray bottle of water, really, because you're just trying to dissolve the salt residue that's on your reel. So just dry everything off. Pretty simple. Handle here, and then you can use the brush to get in areas like this here between the lever, anywhere where you can't reach with a towel, and just dry it. These simple tips will help keep your reel lasting for much longer time. And then I use a brush, especially here on the reel foot, because you can't get in in between here. So kind of brush it all out. You get salt water all inside there, and just dry it up. So that looks a lot better already. You don't have the sticky salt residue that you had when the boat splashes all over. You're on the boat and it splashes all over your reel. It's nice and clean already. So of course, try to dry the line as much as possible. I use compressed air, because I know not everybody has a compressor, but if you can, blow this out with air. If you can't, it's not going to hurt, especially if you use distilled water again. It's not going to hurt because it's not going to have any mineral deposits left, but try to get this as dry as possible. And you can shake it out too if you need to. So I'll just make sure everything's nice and dry. So, and that's pretty much it as far as, basic maintenance, right? If you're in a hurry and you got to go somewhere or something, okay, that's it. You just rinse off your reel, dry it, and you're good. You can, put it away and call it a day. But if you want to do the extra step, first of all, remember to disengage your drag disc when you're done. After you're done drying it all off, back off the drag completely. And this is important as well, because you don't want to keep your drag disc under pressure while it's in storage, right? Because you're going to flatten your disc out. If you just keep constant pressure on it, it could be months before you go fishing again, or a year or whatever. So you don't want that pressure on the drag disc the complete time. So make sure you back off your drag before you put it away. So this is ready to go. You can put this away, or we'll do the next steps here for some advanced care, which is using the oil. So first thing I do is take off the spool tension knob here. And this is pretty dirty. So this is a good example of why we do this. So clean this off. Junk out of there. And then you can see there's, grease is getting dirty in here. So this needs to be maintained pretty soon. So we can clean all this stuff off. If you have grease, you can add some grease in here. But we'll use oil for right now. So that's it. Just wipe down. There's an O-ring here, usually on most reels. Rubber O-ring, so we want to just wipe that. Be careful with that. And then you just need a drop. Here's a bearing inside here, so just a couple drops of oil inside there. I put a drop or two around the O-ring just to lubricate the O-ring. And this cap, you can put some oil here. Pretty simple. Normally we put a little bit of grease, but for this video, we're just gonna use the oil for now. And then just screw back on your cap. And another tip for this is you don't need to screw this all the way tight, because you don't want pressure on your spool if you're putting it away as well. So when you're storing your reel, back this off too. You don't want the pressure. So you can see, if we screw this, see how it stops. We got pressure on here now. Don't leave this tight. You need to back this off where you're going to put it away. So you should be able to spin it like that without any resistance. So just back this off. You don't need this tight when in storage. So that's done. We can also put some oil in the handle here. And that's going to lubricate the bearing that's inside here. Spin it a couple times. If you want to get really advanced, which I do recommend actually, take these two screws off, or if you have a cap on your reel, just pop the cap out and put a drop or two of oil inside here, because there's usually two bearings on the handle. So one here and there's one inside here. So you could take this cap off or pop a cap off if it doesn't have screws, and put some oil in there and put the cap back on. So the other area, just drop oil, put it here in the clicker. And work it in back and forth. And you can just wipe the residue. And it's not a huge deal. You don't have to clean it all perfectly off. You can let it set there. It's not going to hurt it. If you want to get really detailed with it, you can use a Q-tip, or you can use this brush and wipe it up here. So, and then you can also put a drop of oil here between the levers. So basically anywhere there's moving parts there. Just work the lever back and forth. And just wipe off the residual oil here. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. That will help your reel immensely. Taking care of it like that will, you know, increase the chances of not having any issues. So just remember, back off your drag, back off the tension knob before you put it away so you can spin the spool. And that way you don't have any tension on your spool and any drag, any pressure on the drag here. So that's it for the conventional reel.